Surviving as an Anglo isn't just about learning French, it's about learning to live like the French. Because many things in Quebec are distinct. I mean, take Montreal's traffic, symbolic of our city's live and let die spirit. In other Canadian cities, you can turn right on reds, but in Montreal, you can turn right on reds or left on reds or just go straight through a red. Stop signs are optional, and bus lanes are reserved for policemen chasing motorcycle gangs or illegal English apostrophes. Then there are our city's pedestrian crossings, which are really just there to highlight your target when you're driving. You put out your hand at a crosswalk in Toronto and traffic stops all the way to the Quebec border. You put out your hand at a crosswalk in Montreal, you lose it.
Red light, green light, what the heck? We love driving in Quebec. From Chicout to me to Maine, it's beep, beep, get out of my lane. Beep, beep, get out of my lane. This is the only place I've ever seen where they have to put up a sign that says, wait for the green. And no matter how late you cross on yellow, up your rear end is some other fellow. Pedestrians have only one light. It doesn't say walk, it says run for your life. How far is it across Boulevard Levesque? No one knows. No one's ever made it yet. Red light, green light, what the heck? We love driving in Quebec. From Chicout to me to Maine, it's beep, beep, get out of my lane. Beep, beep, get out of my lane.
Now, adding to our motoring confusion is Quebec's roads department, whose highway signs are conveniently posted in French and in French. If you're English, it's best to drive slowly and carry a big French-English dictionary in your glove compartment, so you can decipher all French signs, like the ones that say risque de brouillard. Now, that means risk of fog if you speak French, but what if you don't? Personally, I've always felt the roads department should at least give us Anglos some warning with a sign that said, attention, very difficult French sign coming up in 2 kilometers. Préparez vos dictionnaires.
Sex is very important to Montrealers, particularly in winter when we're all so cold. Here in this next cartoon, I've asked, how do Montreal women talk dirty? Oh my God, yes. You have heated seats. We all survive February, a time of year when our cars won't start, only to have to deal with March, a gray, gray month when we've all had enough tabarouette. The only solution to a Quebec winter is to sleep through until April. That's when we wake up and start paying attention to hockey, whether we're winning, whether we're losing, or perhaps more typically these days, when the Habs actually make the playoffs. A love of the Habs is probably the only thing that unites all Montrealers. On all other matters, we have our differences, which is reflected in our notorious street life. What other North American city holds its annual Scottish Games on the same day as its gay pride parade? Now, tourists know Montreal for its excellent, if expensive, restaurants. Real Montrealers, however, take great pride in eating out regularly for under $10. There isn't a steamed hot dog place in town that isn't on a first-name basis with our friend Josh Freed here. We're also famous for our barbecue sauce. Well, the sauce, anyway. As for smoked meat, this is downtown Dick Pound who knows where to get all the best stuff. And aren't we all sending huge care packages off to Toronto of Saint Viateur bagels? But unquestionably, our greatest fast food export of all is poutine.
No one knows the precise origin, where or when this food did begin. Everybody in Quebec will tell you with a grin, it was their little village that invented the poutine.
To be really authentic, the potatoes must be old, the gravy must be hot, and the cheese must be cold. With a Journal de Montréal wherever it is sold, served with a roll in a bowl by a troll.
You put some potatoes and some cheese in a tin, but the cheese won't melt till you put the gravy in. Then it sticks to your fork and it dribbles down your chin, and that's how you know that you're eating a poutine.
If the French fries are greasy and the gravy's nice and hot, the cheese curds melt as they come out of the in your stomach. It congeals into a knot. If your food does that, poutine is what you got.
Some use mozzarella, but that isn't really it. And they serve it at McDonald's, but the French fries are shit. And I hate to be picky, but I have to admit, it's hard to eat when the cook has a zit.
Well, no one would ever call it haute cuisine. It isn't really junk food, it's something in between, but it's better than a burger or a Mike submarine. A balanced diet is a beer and a poutine.
Hey!